Hi, welcome to Physionic, where we learn the body from the macro to the micro. In this piece of content, we will be investigating if the enzyme phospholipase D translates muscle stimulus to increases in protein synthetic cell growth markers.
Learn your body, a science-based education.
Now, this data comes to us from a study I will have linked for you, along with my notes and any amendments that may follow this content's publication. As a bit of background, phospholipase D is an enzyme that can be found in the inner sarcolemma, or membrane, of the muscle cells. It uses a variety of substrates, molecules, to create new molecules, of which phosphatidic acid is of greatest importance here because it activates the cell growth protein mTOR, which can phosphorylate or activate the molecule P70. So, phosphorylated P70 is a proxy for potential muscle cell growth. As muscles contract, phospholipase D is able to access its substrate to generate phosphatidic acid. So with that background out of the way, the researchers assessed the activity of phospholipase D when they stimulated the entire muscles taken from mice for 15 minutes or for 90 minutes. As you can see, compared to the control condition wherein they did not stimulate the muscles, there is no change in phospholipase D activity with either amount of muscle stimulation. In this next piece of data, the researchers are using the same procedure, but instead of measuring phospholipase activity, they are measuring phosphatidic acid production, which is the primary product created by phospholipase D. In the experiment, they are also inhibiting phospholipase D by a specific inhibitor. So what do we see? Well, although muscle stimulation does increase phosphatidic acid levels in the muscle, the use of phospholipase D inhibitor does not seem to decrease these levels to any significant degree. So far, this implies phospholipase D does not play a major role in muscle-stimulated muscle cell growth signaling. But to be certain, the researchers also looked at phosphorylated P70 levels in our final piece of data. So to orient you, the darker the smudge, the more protein there is. So what protein? In this case, they are measuring phosphorylated or active P70, which is, as we mentioned earlier, is assumed to be a further cell growth signal. Now, to be clear, we should be comparing the relative amounts of phospho P70 compared to the total P70. Again, we're looking at stretched muscles, and again, they are applying the phospholipase D inhibitor. Clearly, with muscle stimulation, phospho P70 levels increase relative to total levels, an indication of cell growth signaling being propagated. Interestingly, however, if the phospholipase D inhibitor is used, there is no change in the phospho P70 compared to when it isn't present. This is all substantiative of the previous data. So in conclusion, what does this tell us? It certainly does not look good for phospholipase D as the converter of mechanical stimulus to intracellular molecular signaling for cell growth. The enzyme may still provide phosphatidic acid to the cell and may even still have a role in stimulating muscle cell growth. But according to this data, it does not seem to be the dominant transducer of mechanical muscle stimuli to cell growth signaling, implying something else likely has a more prominent role in this regard. So, with that said, I hope that this proved informative, and I hope to have the absolute pleasure of speaking with you in the near future. Cheers.